So let's look at two identical patients who are universes apart. So we have two people. They're diagnosed with the same type of cancer, same stage, same grade, same imaging reports, and very similar lab numbers. To conventional medicine, they are essentially the same. So they're given the same chemotherapy regime, the same radiation plan, the same immunotherapy or hormonal therapy program, very similar or same dosages, same schedules, same protocols. But from a terrain perspective, these two people are completely different. They're not even close. They have completely different 12 brain region flow patterns. They have completely different 25 epigenetic switch combination locks. Their brains are different. They have a unique history of stress, trauma, beliefs, and perceptions stored on the hard drive of the brain from early childhood. They have a unique imbalance pattern in the PAG, the insula, the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, the default mode network, and other regions. They both have cancer, so they both have long-standing survival stress signaling, repeated activation of fear, doubt, and threat circuits, and suppression of healing, integration, and coherent signals. But how? That's the big question, everyone. But how this is pattern unique? Their 12 brain region imaging are not even close to identical, even though their diagnoses are. So medicine doesn't look at any of this. It doesn't measure the 12 area brain region flow. It doesn't analyze the brain. It doesn't rebalance the CEO network that sends the master signal of either run or rest, fight or heal. They don't look at the 25 epigenetic switches and how radically unique everyone is. Yes, they look at the genes, and if there's the BRCA gene, they will tell you that there's a greater chances of a problem. But what wasn't told to you that the BRCA gene is a tumor suppressor gene, and maybe you just have the epigenetic switches flipped in the wrong direction, and that gene is too slow. We're not suppressing tumor function fast enough. And did anyone ever mention that you could speed that up epigenetically with custom supplementation? Did anyone ever mention that? Their 25 epigenetic combination locks are very, very different, everyone. When you're looking at the 25 switches, just imagine a digit lock that has 25 different digits, and each digit can be 0 to 9. That's 10 choices per position. The number of possible combinations is 10 to the 25. That is a huge number. And in biology, each switch often has more than just 10 simple states, making the potential uniqueness even greater. Now, it's very important. Both patients have cancer. That means both of them have 12 brain regions that have been locked in survival stress mode. The 25 switches have been flipped in a pro-cancer pattern. There's no such thing as this one has good epigenetics and the other has bad epigenetics when they're both already have cancer. If cancer is present, then somewhere in each person, the 12 brain region and 25 epigenetic switches have been misset in the wrong direction. And this creates the environment that allowed the cancer to arise. So what differs? Which switches are most affected, how severely and misset they are, and how unique brain patterns are driving those epigenetic changes. Yet conventionally, they're treated as if they're the same person, with no true targeting of the brain, synchronization, and not really looking epigenetically at ways we can change the outcome. So why is conventional therapy only temporary without complete healing? Conventional therapies, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, immunotherapy, hormonal therapy, all these therapies can be highly effective in reducing the tumor mass because 99.99% of the tumor is non-stem cancer cells, which is worker bees made by the cancer stem cell, the queen bee. But just because they will kill that does not mean that they reverse the condition, because those therapies do not kill cancer stem cells, because you can't kill a cancer stem cell unless the therapy was so strong it would kill the normal stem stem cells, and then the patient would die because you can't live without your normal stem cells reproducing cells. If we just do conventional therapy, we're going to kill a huge amount of healthy cells also. It also makes many aspects of this terrain, this microenvironment, these 100 trillion cells, and these 25 epigenetic switches, these 7 epigenetic domains, it makes them more damaged, more inflamed, also including the brain. So they're not making a healthier environment, they're making a more toxic, inflammatory, energy deficient, and cellular stress environment. And that's not a problem. Not a problem at all, as long as you're working the healing, not just the killing. The healing is addressing the 12 brain areas. The healing is addressing the 25 epigenetic switches, knowing which ones to flip and how to speed them up, and how to make slow genes fast genes, how to make slow enzymes fast so you don't have backup at the cellular level. That's what we have to address. And then the food choice is critical. The signaling molecules and the biophotons and enzymes of living food first, then raw food, then cooked food. So unless you address all of this, then all the conventional therapy, all the work is really temporary. Because even though the bulk of the tumor may shrink or disappear, the cancer stem cells, the queen bee, she's going to survive, and she's going to make chemo and radiation resistant non-stem cancer cells, worker bees. So it'll just make resistant second generation non-stem cancer cells, which is the bulk of the next tumor that's going to come. This conventional therapy is more toxic, more inflaming, more metabolically rigid, less immune vigilant, more mitochondrial damage, this is energy drain, and more neuroinflamed. When you get chemotherapy, it gives you brain fog, it gives you chemo brain, that's neuroinflammation. So remember, the symptoms, the bulk tumor is going to be removed, but the cause, the misprogramming of the brain and the 25 misset epigenetic switches, they remain, and they even get worse because you haven't changed the internal environment, made it an environment for healing. You've made it an environment of more toxic, more inflammation, more energy drain, and more stress. But we don't blame anybody for this environment we've produced in the body. Your current brain pattern and epigenetic configuration, they were shaped by generational and survival stress. They began before you were born in the womb. They were reinforced by early life experiences, cultural training, the diet you grew up with, the toxins, and any unhealed emotional issues that just stored in the system. And they've been further strained by the disease process and even some of the treatments used to get rid of the disease. You did not consciously choose to lock your brain into survival mode or to flip the 25 epigenetic switches into a cancer terrain. And it's nobody's fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's not your grandparents' fault. If anyone was to blame, you'd have to go all the way back to the beginning. These are just defaults, everyone. This is a generational survival program that has been passed forward and just magnified by modern stress, toxicity, and a disconnection from the flow state in the brain, the theta-gamma synchronization of these 12 key brain areas. You can heal. You can even be better than you ever were. All we have to do is balance the 12 brain regions. Neuroscience calls these neuroplasticity. So their brain isn't fixed. It can be reprogrammed, and that's the beauty of it. And that's what we do with patients at Revolution New Medicine. We do heart-brain entrainment therapy to reprogram the 12 brain regions. Reprogram in theta-gamma synchronization or flow. Then the 25 epigenetic switches, they're switches. You can flip them the other way. And we do that in every patient after we do the epigenetic and genetic workup. We make the custom genetic formula, epigenetic formula, which will turn on and off the proper genes in the proper sequence, which really means you're speeding up slow genes and slow enzymes to make them fast genes and fast enzymes. When we restore the 12 brain region flow, and that's the theta-gamma synchronization, and we learn a diet and a lifestyle to epigenetically change the terrain, the right amount of oxygen, water, the right choices, the living raw plant foods, the proper sleep, the proper exercise, the proper detoxification and fasting. When we put this all together and we do this off of your genetic epigenetic workup to make the diet, lifestyle, exercise, sleep patterns, all these things optimized, then what you are doing is rewriting the signals from your brain down and reshaping the 25-digit code, your epigenetic code. And what that means? It means healing, everybody. Not killing, healing. And the cancer stem cell can revert back to a normal stem cell. It is made to do that. It is plasticity. It can be retrained.